You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
Welcome back to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell.
And your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
Your local mortgage experts right here on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, October 13th show. We are here to help you build a strong financial blueprint 1 week and one show at a time. If you're hearing our show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast, but you can connect with our guests by calling into the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. In studio right now, Holly Furen with LynnMac Commercial, and it's all about the condo market and just like a crazy hot topic right now. Holly, thank you so much for coming back into studio.
Thank you for having me back.
And a little bit about Holly. Holly is a third-generation real estate broker and property manager in Seattle at the LynnMac Commercial, LLC office. She has over 25 years and personal experience as a property manager. She helps her clients acquire investment properties as well as finding tenants for them and manage the rental properties. She appreciates the relationships that she develops with their clients. Holly is heavily involved in her community service as well as being a Girl Scout troop leader.
Holly, so was it like last week, I think, we talked about...
Yeah, last Money Chat.
Money chat. We were talking about condos
You
and
gave me the tip on to bring that into studio.
I did. Good thing I remembered it was last week.
Uh-huh.
We talked about condos and how that's kind of an uprising, and it's going to be a pretty popular thing here, so it seems. There's a lot of building and such. So, Holly, what's happening tell us more about it. What's happening in the condo market?
Yeah, so we're definitely seeing, like Carrie said, a slowing down in the market in general. We're returning to more of a regular market.
Mm-hmm. Healthy.
Yeah.
More of a healthy market.
Yes, definitely. I'm definitely seeing less investing from the perspective of affordability. There's rates that have gone up. That has kind of set the mark. I think everybody's felt that tremor in
Yes.
in the financial sector. And investors are reluctant to invest in the current political climate, and all the new strict city laws are really making them a little bit more weary about investing in Seattle condos as rental properties. And the cooling of rental prices even has and that's just in the increase of the rental units in the city has pushed the condo owners to drop their prices. So
So I know there's more condos that are coming on the market because of everything that's happening with the rents decreasing and, the state law that had made it easier for condo owners to be able to have lawsuits against the builders is what really caused that slowdown in the condo market. But what are you seeing is the cause in the changing of the market right now, Holly?
Yeah, everyone is seeing the same thing from rentals to sales. The market is just slower. There's less people moving this time of year. There's more choices. The homes that have been priced too high are starting to come down, and buyers who have been waiting are watching those numbers. There's more competitive prices. That is really the way to go to get things to start moving. Too many people have that multiple offer syndrome, and they haven't really got back to reality yet. So people are still listing at top dollar, and then they're seeing those listings sit. So they inadvertently slash prices, and they just, the agents are starting to scratch their heads on how to market a home that's been sitting on the market for too long.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So how's this affecting the prices?
Well, even with the new condos coming on, the places that people are buying consistently are homes that are just outside of Seattle. So I'm sure that's due to less rules and better prices. So the outskirts of Seattle is consistently seeing the numbers moving. But I've seen more of a cooling effect with Seattle, and that's consistent with that multiple offer syndrome.
Yes, yeah. And I know, Holly, the last year, only 350 condos were on the market in all of King County, down from the long-running average, which was 2,000. But now they're predicting that we're going to have 2,000 that are already planned out, and up to 6,000, I think, is what I heard in the short term, which is just a crazy difference. So, but the interesting thing with that in the information provided is they're not really affordable condos, possibly for a lot of the people that live in the area, because on the low end they're going to be $500,000 plus. So with that information, what would you say right now is better off, the buyer or the seller, with what's happening in the condo market?
The trend should really even out since the lull of condos being built between 2011 and 14, which there was nothing built during that time. So that, the pendulum swung the other direction, and there was a feeding frenzy with the rate being low and not having enough condos for everyone. But that's starting to disintegrate with the thousands of condos hitting the market, like you said, in the next few years. Out of the 6,000 that they projected, 5,000 alone in Seattle were announced to be completed by 2022. So if that's true, the market will shift to purchasing the newer buildings, and the existing condos may become less appealing than their brand new counterparts, which gives the buyer the advantage of more options.
Okay.
So, Tina, on the mortgage side, I know you see it as well. People sometimes forget about homeowners insurance when buying condos, and that can affect the transaction with your debt to income. So you got to be aware of that. On our side, at least. But on your side, Holly, what's important for people to know about buying or selling a condo?
It's important to have an agent that knows their product. Many times agents can miss crucial concepts such as reserves and rental caps when dealing with condominiums. And working with an agent who already knows a building and is familiar with the staff and other residents is also a good benefit to both a seller and a buyer, as they can answer far more questions and tell their clients whether they're getting a good deal or not.
Yeah, and it's so true, especially in the condo arena. It's kind of like I would compare, condo, if you're doing a really high-end waterfront property, having the knowledge of what that property in that market, and when you're buying into a specific condo, if somebody has the knowledge and all of that information and the connections of where to get the information that they need to go, is so key. So what advice, Holly, would you have for our sellers that are listening today?
Well, specifically for Seattle condo owners who've held onto their condos to wait for a good time to sell, this would really be a good time to sell, especially before your competition hits the market. Owners who want to capitalize on their investment may want to start strategizing now to maximize their return on their investment.
Yeah.
So I alluded to homeowners insurance, and I meant homeowners association dues.
Well, I was sitting over here wondering.
Yeah, homeowners insurance is cheap on condos. It's the dues.
$25.
$25 is not going to break the bank, but the association dues in Seattle could be $500-$600.
Yeah.
It's a good chunk of change per month that you need to be aware of. So I'm going to correct that.
Nice disclosure there.
Thanks. I just wanted to cover all bases if I could. So let's talk about investors who are looking at condos as a rental property. What are your thoughts for them?
Well, currently for rentals, they are still struggling to stay competitive at last year's prices. Rental prices have cooled significantly since last year. Some rentals that were going for $2,750 last year could only get $2,150 this year. So that's something to consider when shopping for an investment condo as well. But the other thing that's come up consistently that I'm still struggling to wrap my head around is the charges of the move-in fee. And a lot of those HOA associations have yanked those prices up.
Yeah.
Really?
So when somebody's moving, the HOA might require up to $1,000 up front.
You've got to be kidding
Now,
me.
the city says we cannot charge that to the incoming renter. We can also not charge change of keys, anything other than screening and cleaning. Yet I consistently see agents listing and saying they have to pay at least half of that moving cost. So that's still up in the air. I've seen it over and over, but I get the condos for rental investments. that is kind of something to consider.
It's a big thing.
It's an expense.
And and with the investors, this is the thing that can get tricky with condos is the concentration of how many investors are in there, and it's just surprising to see how many HOAs really aren't paying attention to that percentage. Now, if you're coming in and buying as an investor, it affects you. If you're coming in and buying as a primary, it doesn't matter what that is, but it's going to cause an issue possibly for you being able to invest, to rent that out. So a little bit difference between, condos and buying a single family home. So Holly, what would you be advising with buyers right now looking to get into the condo market?
Having an agent that knows both sides of the market is crucial when purchasing a condo as an investment. Or just buying a condo. So many times I get a referral from another agent. Working with one person from purchase to management is much easier than being passed around, I think. Also knowing the specifics, such as is there any potential for a special assessment? Is there any lawsuits that have come or gone? It's extremely important to know those things when working with an agent to purchase a condo.
Holly, in general, what are your thoughts on somebody looking to buy an investment property and are looking at a condo specifically? What things can you weigh up? I mean, is it better to go that way or, single family, or what are your thoughts overall about it?
It really depends on what the end result is that the investor is looking for and what are they trying to add to their portfolio? What is their capital that they already have? I see a lot of people who want to get into rental properties because they think it's a good investment, which it is.
Yeah.
But if they don't have the capital to back up expenses that come up, that could cause problems for them personally.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and last question as we wrap things up here, Holly, is there's a talk of a lot of apartment complexes turning in and converting to condos. And so it's just going to be interesting because we've had no condos, literally nothing hardly, to now we're just going to have this a massive amount of condos coming in. So it's going to be interesting to see what that effect is in the difference of appreciation with single family homes and condos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And really the things that people are going to be looking for when purchasing is parking.
Yeah, good point.
That is a good point.
Yeah, that gets a little bit crazy in Seattle. Well, everybody just take an Uber. Who needs a car anymore, right? That's what my daughter would say is who needs a car anymore? Just Uber.
If you're in
it.
Seattle, you really don't need a car.
Exactly. Holly, well, thank you so much for coming back in and joining us in studio. It's always a pleasure to have you here.
Same.
And coming up next to the Money Hour, remodeled home tour, Corey Sauvé with Master Builders Association right here at 1150 AM KKNW after this short break.